Okay. All right, welcome to your Tech Tip Tuesday. This week, I want to show you a couple things. I know we've talked some about Gmail in one of the past sessions, but today I wanted to go in and show you a couple other things that you can do in Gmail that really, I figured out that they really help me stay a lot more efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Can everybody see that? Just give me a thumbs up. Good, perfect. If you have questions as we go along or want me to show something again, feel free to either throw it in the chat or unmute yourself and I can go back and show you things multiple times here. Oftentimes when we do this Gmail stuff, we've got to look at it multiple times. Also, just so you know, I do have a video on a couple of these, just standalone videos for you to help walk you through some of this stuff for after the class. And then I am, of course, recording today. So excuse my mess of an email inbox over here. Yes, I really do have over 2,000 emails. Oh no, I'm up to 20,000. Good, okay. So I am a self-proclaimed digital hoarder. I keep everything. Unless I know it's trash, I've started to use that trash icon a little bit more. But because we have unlimited storage really in Gmail, I don't have a need to delete a lot of stuff. I like to save stuff in case I need to go back and find it. You know, you get somebody that reaches out to you 5 years after a transaction and asks for, you know, their original seller's disclosure. Oftentimes I can go back to my email and find it. Now it's all in .loop for me, but I keep a lot of emails. So I try to keep incoming emails as organized as I possibly can, although it's really hard when you're out on the go, especially, you know, when we're out with, you know, dropping signs off and lock boxes and listing appointments and buyer appointments. You know, we get things on our phone and then we get back to the office and all of a sudden we're like, okay, what did I get that I need to respond to? So the first kind of hack or tip I want to show you is my star system. And you can do this on your phone as well, as long as you're using your Gmail app on your phone. If you're using the native phone app, you might not have this option. This is why I use the Gmail. I've downloaded the Gmail app to my phone and use that exclusively. I don't use my native iPhone mail app. I use Gmail only. And that's primarily because I can do this star thing. So as emails come in and I'm on the go, if it's something that I need to come back to later and respond to, I'll click right here, the star button. And what that does is it puts it in a priority inbox for me. Right over here under my inbox, you can see where I have starred. So when I get back to my office, I pull up my email. The first thing I do, instead of going to my inbox, where what do you do when you go to your inbox? You start at the top and work your way down. Versus there might be stuff down here that I've received earlier in the day that I need to be responding to that's probably more pressing than what's up here at the top. I don't go to my inbox. The first thing I do is I come right over here to starred, and then I've got my priorities right here. I know immediately what do I need to respond to that I've received. And as I respond to them or do something with them, I can unstar them. And then they're out of the star. They're still going to sit over here in my inbox. They're still there. They're in both places. But I know as I work my way through these for the day, I can unstar them and then they're out of this. Right now I've got a ton of stuff in here that I need to go through and unstar. Some of it's like registrations. So it might not be things that I need to respond to right away. But if it's something like here's a, you know, confirmation of a contribution that I got the other night, and I need to label this to put it in my receipts for tax purposes. So I star it until I go in here and apply the right label and do something with this. That way it doesn't get absolutely buried in my inbox. I'll never be able to go back and find this email, you know, after it's been a couple weeks, because we get just a boatload of emails. So I use the star system. That's your first hack, is using the star system. You do have the ability, I'm going to go over here, right up here to settings. And in your settings, where is it? Right down here. You do have the ability to have different stars. So if you really want to get organized, I tried to use this and then realized that it was just too time consuming. You can have multiple stars in use. So this tells me here what I have in use. So if it's just a reminder, something I need to go back and label later, I could put it under yellow. I could put it under green if it's something that is transaction related, something I need to respond to ASAP. I could put, you know, the exclamation point on it. So you can really come up with your own filing system here, priority system for emails. Everybody just gets inundated with emails right now. And so it's really important when you go back to your office, you sit down in front of your computer, where do you start? And it's overwhelming with the number of emails that we get, trying to figure out where to start. So using this star system really helps. Sheila, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you. Oh, you're still muted, hold on.
I had already unmuted myself because I knew. First of all, I went to my starred settings and I've got bazillions under there that I didn't know, and I never used that feature before that I know of. Any tips?
Yeah, it's what you're probably seeing is just the default.
It's
so
got
let's go back here under settings, and your default is probably that you've got all of these in use.
Mm-hmm. And where did you find this again?
It's right up here underneath your picture and the company logo. It's this little cog, the settings cog. If you click on that and then click, there'll be a drop down, and then you pick settings.
Okay.
And then we're on the general tab here. That's what you'll open up to. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all the colors.
Yeah, I have in use the yellow star.
Okay, see if I do just one star, see here on presets, if I do one star, it only gives me the yellow. 4 stars, all stars.
But how might I have gotten, do you suppose, so many marked with the star and I didn't even know I was using a star?
It's very possible when you're in your inbox to accidentally hit that.
All righty. Thank you.
Oh, I need to. No, that's all right. I don't need to save that. Anybody have questions on stars, or does anybody use that in a different way? When you're on your phone, I'm pulling up my phone real quick so I make sure I give you the right information. If you're on the Gmail app on your phone, I am going to try something real quick. Bear with me here for about 30 seconds. I'm going to open up the Zoom app on my phone and share my screen for my phone and show you where this is. Make sure I have myself muted. Okay, let me unshare this screen. And then I'm going to go, I've got to come up here, change the host so I can share my screen. Takes forever. Okay. Can you all see my phone now? Just give me a thumbs up in the camera. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. So the star system on your phone, right here, if I click on this with my finger, it'll star it for me. And I believe if you're using multiple stars, you click and hold and it'll let you change which star level it is. Again, it became way too convoluted for me to try to differentiate between all these stars. It just got a little too overwhelming. For me, just using that single star is probably, I should probably turn my do not disturb on while we're doing this. Just using that single star has helped me tremendously. So again, I use the Gmail app, the native Gmail app on my phone, or the Gmail app on my phone, not the native Mail app. So I just deleted the native Mail app and used Gmail. That way I've got, it looks the same when I'm flipping back and forth between my phone and my computer. It's not, and I get the star system. That's the biggest thing that I love about using the Gmail app on my phone. Any questions on using the star system, or anybody want me to show you how to do that again?
Hey, Christian, to eliminate the star, how do you do that again?
You just, so on your phone, I've clicked on the star. If I just click on it again, it'll eliminate it. And then on the, let me stop sharing my phone here and flip back over to my computer. If I can. Well, this is good. It's not letting me reclaim the host. That's awesome. Oh, there we go. I found the right button. Okay, so on the desktop version, right there next to the check mark, the star, and if you want to unselect it, you just unclick it. So it's a simple click and unclick, and on your phone, it's a simple tap and untap. If I click it, this is how you get if you want to use the different stars, if I click twice, it'll give me, I just click fast, it'll give me the different stars that I have over here in my settings. But again, I just use the yellow star. When I get back in front of my computer, when I finish training, the first thing I do is come over here to the right and click start, and then I know here's my to-do list, my action items, what I need to respond to first on email, or what I need to address. It's not always responding. Some of it's, you know, addressing things, or again, labeling things, etc., putting things in the right places. Okay, are we good on stars? Sheila, do you have another question, or I'm going to lower your hand? Anybody have any other questions on the star system? How to keep that organized? It has helped me, again, tremendously, especially when you're out on the go, busy, you know, doing the star thing. It's a great way to keep yourself organized and more efficient.
That would be perfect whenever the admins are saying that they need a list of items for sales or something to help find those files better.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. If I get an email from title company, whatever, saying they need something, I immediately star that, and it sits in there until I go and I have to unstar it. I've got to take it out of that star thing. If you have, I think you can remove, Sheila, this might help you. If you have a whole bunch of stuff that's starred, I'm over here in my starred. If I click on up here at the very top, this very top check mark, it'll star the 50 that are on this page for me. And if I want to remove the star on all of those, I think you can do that right here. Yeah, I've got them all selected. I'm not going to do this because it'll really mess me up. But right here, I click on these 3 dots and then remove star. So if I want to clear everything out of there, if you inadvertently have, if you want to start using this system and you have a bunch of stuff in there that's starred, that's how you can just get rid of it all and start with a clean slate. So again, you check this box up here at the top. It'll tell you right here in this bar how many you have selected. It'll only select the ones that are on that page unless I select this. That selected all 1,300 that are starred right now. And I can remove all the stars and start over, which I probably need to do for my 51 through 1,361 is just remove them all. Start with a clean slate. I forget to go in here sometimes and remove my stars. Okay, I'm going to go on to my next little hack trick. Some of you might have seen this before, but it's worth showing again. And again, I've got a quick little video. I think it's like 2 minutes long. That I can use after, that I can share with everybody after, sorry, I'm trying to get out of the app on my phone, after the meeting today. So I liked another way that I stay organized. This looks like a disaster over here on the right, but these are all my labels. I'm a huge fan of using labels. And if I go here under active clients, I have labels set up for any active clients that I currently have. Some of these I need to move. Again, my email right now is a disaster, but this is an active client right here. And as soon as I have their house under contract, I want every email that comes in that's associated with their transaction to go under their label. And I want this to happen for me automatically. So the way that I set this up is initially I'll set up both the buyer or seller. I'll set them up so every email that comes in with them gets tagged. But I don't want to necessarily set up Amy at the title company because she's emailing me about multiple transactions, right? So I need to figure out a way that I can filter messages without doing it by person. So how I do it is I do it by address. So I'm going to find there was actually one over here in Starred. I'm just going to find an email. Here's one right here. So if I'm in an email, you can do this from several different places. I go right up here to the more, and I'm going to do filter messages like this, like these. And I'm going to take out, it's going to default, if you're in an email, it's going to default to whoever sent you the email, whatever email address this came in from. I don't want every email from SkySlope to go into their label. I come down here to has the words, and I put a quotation mark, and then I put their property address. I don't put the full thing because sometimes it'll come through with a W, sometimes it'll come through with West spelled out, sometimes it'll be W period. So I don't put in their full address. I try to just use the house number. Now, I will tell you, if you have a 4-digit house number, on occasion, if somebody has that same 4 digits in their phone number and they have an email signature, you will filter all of those messages under your client. It happened to me with our processor, Terry, out at the Blue Valley office. She had the same last 4 digits as one of my clients' house numbers, and all of a sudden I couldn't figure out why all of her emails were going into their label, and then I finally figured it out. So just be cognizant of that. But again, I got here by going, I had an email pulled open. I clicked on these 3 dots. Nope. Now it's not giving me that option. Why are you doing that? It doesn't matter which one I pull up. Back to my inbox. We'll go here. Clicked on the 3 dots up here, the more, and hit filter messages like these. I take out that from, and I put in quotation marks their house number. And then I'm not going to hit search. I'm going to hit create filter. I don't want to search for all of these. I want to create a filter for them. So I hit create filter. And then this brings up some options for me. I want this option right here, apply the label. And then I pick their label that's already been set up. They're right here. If I hadn't set their label up yet, when I click on apply label, one of the options at the very top is to create a new label. So you can create a new label right from here if you'd like to, if you haven't created it yet. I've already created mine. So I go and pull it from the list. The other thing that I do here, and this is important, is I come down and I check this very last box and I hit apply filter to matching messages. So anything I've received so far that has 5402 in it is going to be filtered. If I don't select this, the messages I've received up until 1:20 today won't be filtered. Everything after right now will be filtered. So I want to make sure I catch everything that I've already been sent. So I make sure to check that box. And I come right over here and I hit create filter. And you can see up here, all of these emails have now been applied to this filter. So I have stuff from the inspector. I have Virtual View 360. I've got my Boost ad that's come in here. Terry, my processor, is coming here. HomeSnap, the title company. I swept all of those emails together that had anything to do with this transaction with one filter. So now if I need something for this transaction, I'm coming over here and clicking on their filter. And here's everything that's associated with their transaction. And I have several filters coming into this because they're not just sellers, they're also buyers. So I have everything from their buy side coming into here too. Okay, what questions do you have? I know I just covered a lot and I think I went pretty fast. So what do you want me to redo or re-show, or what questions do you have? Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can throw them in chat as well.
So do you ever put the buy side in their own thing, or do you, because they're buying and selling, you push them together? Because you don't know whether, like, there were several things about the buy and one on the sell in the same email loop.
You know, I used to keep them separated, but now with Gmail, and when we were using Outlook, I kept them separated. But now that we're in Gmail and you've got such robust search capability, I keep them all lumped together.
Okay.
But you could absolutely keep them apart. You could create two different labels, one that said, you know, by 2020 DeWitt buy, 2020 DeWitt sell, and I could keep those separated. You bet. My personal preference is to keep it broad. Otherwise, if I get too narrow and too specific, then the system doesn't work for me, because then I just don't.
Christian, when you
I don't like using multiple stars. Yeah, Tina, go ahead.
when you do that, it automatically pulls everything out of the inbox and puts it into the file, so it's only in the file?
No, it's in both now.
Okay,
So that's a big difference with like Gmail. If you were
great.
used to Outlook and Gmail, I always tell you, think of these labels over here as your folders, but really they're not folders because it lives now in both. So these are filters over here.
Got it. That's great.
So Patty put in chat, how do you create the main label? i.e. I've got like my active clients here. So to create the main label, I'm going to go back just to my inbox here. And you can either go over up here under settings, right here, the settings cog. I can go here and I can go into settings. And then right here at the top, you've got labels is your second, right next to general labels. And this is where you manage all of your labels. So in here, we've got the system labels, inbox, starred, snooze. That's what over here on the far left, you can see the system labels. Down here are the categories. I'll talk about that in just a second. And then down here are your labels. So these are all of the different labels I have. And I use, think of this as a folder. I use a main one and then sub labels as well. So to create a new one, it's kind of hidden here. Right under labels, it's create new label. So I'm going to create we'll create it like this so it's right at the top, a test label. So this is going to be a new label. This is how I would create like my, over here on the left-hand side, I don't have any of these drop down. This is how I'd create like my active clients. I'm not going to select any of this stuff down here. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Right now we're going to create the big label. I'll just title it active test label. Okay, create, and here it is. It shows up right here. These are going to be in alphabetical order over here. So right here, I've got that. Now, you create your, let's say we've created our active client, and now you want to create a label under that. I can either click on the little, you can see when I put my mouse over it, it kind of highlights it, and I get these little 3 dots. I can click on that and hit add sub-label. So it'll automatically have these selected for me. Remember I showed you a second ago when we were creating the main one, we're not going to check any of that. We're going to do Adler test label. Help if I could spell today. Create. So now that's right underneath this. To do that without clicking here, I'm going to go right back over here on my settings bar, create new label. We'll go Christian test label. And I want this to live underneath the active client. So I'm going to hit this nest. And I want it to go under my active test label. And here are my labels now.
Okay, got it.
So that's how you create labels. You can also create labels from right inside emails. Okay, so let's pull up, I need to create a label here. So right here at the top, I'm inside an email. Right here at the top, I've got the little labels thing, tag. If I click on this, I can apply a label to this. Right here, I can search. So if I've got something way at the bottom, I don't want to have to scroll. I can just search if I know exactly what I need this to be labeled as. Or I can select from my list. So this needs to go in my BHGRE stuff. Or if I don't have that created yet, right here, I can hit create new. So that brings up that box for me as well to create a new label.
Okay, I can see it.
We're going to start a new label here for all Michael's emails. So I'm going to do BHGRE tools. I want this to go under training. And then I want it to go under BHGRE. That's where I want it to live. Create. So with your labels over here, you can either label individual emails as they come through, or they can be done for you. So if this is one, we'll pull up this email. I know this needs to go under my BHGRE tools. Where did this go? If I want every email that comes through from Stosh to go under that label, I don't want to have to do it individually. I'm going to go create my filter. So I know that everything that comes through from him is probably, he's BHGRE, it's all going to be him. So instead of applying a label individually, I'm going to create that filter just like I did for that active client. We'll walk through that again. I'm going to click here on the more, filter messages like these. And this time I'm going to leave his email up here. Everything that comes through from him, I want to automatically be filtered with that label tagged.
Good.
So I'm going to come down here and hit create filter. And I want to apply the label. It's not the label I want. That's the one I want. And I'm also going to apply it to 2 messages that are already in my inbox. And I'm going to hit create filter. And now anytime I get a message from Stosh, it's automatically going to be filtered there. I do the same thing. Let me just show you real quick. Let's go over to settings again. I'm going to go under the settings tab. And I'm going to show you where, once you set up all your filters, where do you manage those? So I'm going to click up here. We've got general. We went to labels. Now I'm going to go to filters. This right up here is every filter I've ever created in Gmail. I have emails directing 8,000 different places. So this is a good one right here. I'll check on it so you can see which one I'm looking at. Every month when I got my invoice from Canva saying, you know, here's your monthly invoice, I didn't need that sitting in my inbox. Where I needed it was sitting in my receipts. So I set up a label to mark it as read. That way it doesn't come up as an email that I need to address, and label it my LLC tax information, receipts, bills. That's a label I have set up. I do the same thing for super billing. Right down here, you see super billing. I have those automatically filtering into this label. So when it becomes tax time, come over here, here's all my receipts. I've got them all organized right there. But over here in your settings and under filters is where you can see all the filters you've had set up. So if you've accidentally created a filter and you want to go in and delete it, you can do that here, or you can go in and edit. Okay, any questions on I skipped over kind of questions on labels and went right into filters. Any questions on either labels, how to set those up over here or in here, or using your filters? Do you think this will be handy to keep your inbox organized? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes on the participation screen, or
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Should be yes.
very good. So you'll notice when I pull up my inbox, I have all these different colors that come up. That's because all these are being automatically labeled as they come into my inbox. These are all filters I have set up. If you want to change the color of things, your default is gray, I think. If I want to change the color, here's that test one that I just set up, and I want to change everything that gets filtered into here. I click on the 3 dots and then label color. And I can change it just for the main label or everything underneath it. That color. So if I want, right now for some reason, I don't know why this happened, probably because I did it during a training session. I screw with things during a training session and forget what I've done. But right now I've got under active clients, there are all sorts of different colors, which I don't like. I like it all to be one color. That way I know turquoise, that's client. I know green, when green comes in, this is training stuff, all training stuff. So I want to change all of my, right now you can see here in my inbox, I've got, they're set up as turquoise. I've got Sky Slope set up as something else. Where's another client one? Here's another client one. It's a different color. I want all these to be the same color. It's driving me nuts. So I'm going to come over here to active clients, and I'm going to click on my 3 dots, and I'm going to change my label color to my turquoise, and I want it for everything. The main label and sub-labels, I want them all to be the same. So you can see what happened to my inbox there. Everything that's client related now is this turquoise. Everything that comes in for my daughter, for her school, sports, whatever, I have a label set up. I know if it's orange, if I open my inbox and it's orange, I know it has to do with Layla's school. I'm a very visual, color-driven person. It does not bother me in the least that I have 20,000 emails up here. I could care less. What I care about is what it looks like when I open it and what I need to address, what I need to do. Some people, this would absolutely give them anxiety to have 20,000 emails. I could care less. I know from my organization system, I know where everything is. You can ask my mom, who I think is on this call, that I might have a ton of stuff, but usually I know exactly where it is. Try to keep it organized. Daly asked a question in chat that I missed. Could you end up with the same thing in a filter? Daly, do you want to unmute and ask that? I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Well, if you're moving all these different things around from your original email, could you end up with the email in the original email, in your filters to the left, and also in your starred box?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the big difference between Outlook and Gmail. You're not moving emails. So let's look at this email right here from Michelle. Okay, I'm in my inbox. I'm just in my primary inbox. This email is sitting right here. It's just been labeled for me. So if I go over here to training and I go to brokers, that email is still sitting right here. It's in both places. It's in both places.
How come it's not green like it was in the other one?
Because over here on this side, it's not, because I'm in this label, it's not going to show me the label.
Okay, because you
Over
didn't.
my inbox, it shows me where it sits. Over on this side, once I get to there, it's not going to show me because everything in there would be green.
Okay.
So but let me show you something here. So it's in both places right now, because I haven't touched it. It's in both places. If I archive from my inbox, I don't want this junking up my inbox. If I hit archive, it's moved it out of my inbox, but it's still sitting over here in my label.
Okay.
So that's a way that you can keep your inbox clean. Obviously, I probably needed to subscribe to my own advice, but that's a way you could keep your inbox cleaned up, is by archiving. Use your labels and then archive your inbox, archive this page so it doesn't overwhelm you when you come in, and it doesn't, everything is over here in your folders now. That's the equivalent of moving things into a folder like you would have in Outlook. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So you can drag and drop as well. You don't have to go in and click on the email and click on label and then find you can drag and drop from your inbox. So if this is an email from David and I want this emailed, I want this to be under, where's our little test one? Right there. I gotta find it on the left before I drag over here. I can just drag it and move it over there. That was the equivalent of me labeling and archiving out of my inbox. So you can, I know a lot of people did that in Outlook where you just kind of drag things over to folders. You can still do that here. You can drag things into labels. As you drag, it's going to move it out of your inbox. It's like the equivalent of me hitting this archive button. Takes it out of there and it still sits over here in my label. Okay, what questions do you have on, any other questions on setting up the filters, the labels, anything you want me to walk through and show again? Patty asked, does archive work better than delete to reduce the number of emails? So I don't think when you archive, let's try this. This is already in a label, so I don't care if I archive it. It will reduce the total number of emails you have up here if you archive. So yeah, I like archiving over deleting. Again, I like saving everything. Even if it's archived, I can still go back and find it and search. Once it's deleted, it's gone. It's gone. So even if you have a label on it, if I deleted this email from David, even though it has this email on it, or this label on it, it's going to delete it from everything. So if you want it moved out of your inbox, but still want it sitting over here, you need to archive. If you don't want it at all, then you hit, that's the archive button's this one with the little down arrow. Your delete's this one, the trash. So if I delete that, it's moved to trash. So it's not sitting, it's not over here anymore. It's completely gone, completely gone. Hopefully it wasn't important because I hadn't read it yet. I thought he said there was no staff meeting today, so I'll just get in trouble if I miss it. Sheila, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, well, I am probably the least techie of all, but in the past when we had the limited storage space, I would put my files, even my active ones, archive didn't count against you. So I have like a lot of things in a folder on the left-hand side underneath drafts. I have an archive as my heading with a whole lot of stuff in it. So I tried to set up a label like 2020 clients. It looked like I did, but now I can't find where it is in order to, like, you know, start putting a folder in it. So maybe this is an after class kind of question, or.
Yeah, let me help you with that. I'll just in general, if you can't find, if it's not showing up over here, go to your settings.
All right.
And then go to labels up at the top next to general, hit labels, and then make sure down here that you have it on show and not hide. So you can have a label if you don't like all of this long list of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like some of these I've set up in classes and I've just never gone back in and deleted them. Like this one for class. If I don't want that to show up over here, I'm going to hide it. And it's now not going to show up over here. So if you've got one that you've created that isn't showing up, my first troubleshooting would be go to your settings and go to labels and make sure that you are showing it. And the hide is in. If your hide is blue, you're not going to see it over on the left-hand side. And then the other thing you want to make sure it's not nested under something. So you might have accidentally put it under your folder where you've got all your archive stuff. You may have put it under there. To see what's under it, on your left-hand side, see how these have little arrows next to them? That means they're subfolders. So if I click on the arrow, it'll show me everything I have under active clients.
But shouldn't my word 2020 active clients, would that not be apparent? I mean, that's what I'm trying to see if I've got it somewhere already.
It should be, yes.
You try more.
Yeah, the way to check to see if you've already created it again, you go to your settings and then go to the labels and then look down here under your labels and see if you've created it.
Or labels?
You've got under labels on settings, you've got your system labels first, then categories, and then down below are labels. This is everything that you've ever created. Some of these you're going to have some labels in there that if you were on Outlook, when we came over to Gmail, you might have a bunch of old labels that came over from Outlook that have some crazy names. So you can manage those right from this screen. So if you've got some of those crazy where it says like inbox / active client / DeWitt / those came over from Outlook when we did the conversion 2 years ago. So if you've got any of those that you want to get rid of, come over here to settings and under your labels, right here, you can hit remove. So this one that I had set up, where's the for class one? Right here. I'm going to remove that label.
Okay.
Didn't delete the emails. The emails are still there. I just removed the labels. Those emails are no longer labeled. If I want to edit, I can edit this and I can change the name of the label. I can also put it in a different place. So on my active clients, where's my active clients? Right down here. So this is an old one. This is one I set up as an example. It has 0 messages in it. Right underneath I see 0 messages. So I want to move them from active to closed. So I'm going to hit edit. And then instead of them being under active clients, I'm going to put them, I've got a label called closed clients. So I move them to closed. That way I keep my active clean. I've got a bunch of them in here I need to move. But I keep this fine-tuned into things that either active in the pipeline.
Okay.
And then once they're closed, once we're done, like this one's done, I'm going to do edit. And then I'm going to nest it instead of under active, I'm going to closed.
Okay, well, I finally found my 2020 clients that I label that I made, but it is like, oh, it's at the very bottom. You know how on the right-hand side of your...
Oh yeah, it's way down.
It's underneath all the archive stuff that I had that I brought over with the transition. It's near the trash.
Okay. Well, it's sometimes you'll get that, a bunch of stuff down here. Like I've got a random one down here that should not be down here. Another shortcut for you, instead of going up here to settings and then labels, right down at the very bottom of your label list, here's where you can manage your labels. If you just click manage labels, it'll bring you right over into here. And then create a new label, you can do that right here as well. So if I want to start a new label, I can do that. So just a little shortcut while I'm there.
So I can do the 2020 active clients and then edit out the one that I wrote a little bit ago. I can remove it, right?
Yes. Where did I just move that. I accidentally just moved something. I don't know where I put that. That's good. This is the danger of training in your own, when you're in your own inbox. You start moving things around and then you can't find it anymore. Okay, let me read a couple of these questions in chat. Daily, when you see a promotional email, you usually delete it immediately. So here's, you'll notice in my inbox, I have the categories up here, and these are baked in categories that Gmail has for you. You notice when we're over here in the settings, under our labels, these are the system labels, and then Gmail has these categories. So what Gmail tries to do is it tries to, it is an AI feature. So as you're using Gmail, it'll start figuring out what your preferences are based on how you interact with emails. So it'll try to categorize things automatically for you. Sometimes there are things that go into updates and forums that I don't want in updates and forums. I need that in my inbox. It's important, which is kind of frustrating, but I keep moving them over, and then Gmail finally gets the hang of it that don't categorize those. But what it'll try to do is automatically categorize as you're getting emails. So if I go to my inbox, if I go up here under social, it is filtered for, these are like automatic filters. So it has filtered all of these emails that I get from LinkedIn. Most of it's all LinkedIn because I've got all my other social profiles set up with a different email address. So anything that comes through from LinkedIn, some of you, if you've got Facebook attached to your Kansas City homes, you know, Instagram, etc., Gmail will automatically filter all of these into social for you. I like this feature because I don't want all these emails crowding up my inbox. Usually the social ones, I very rarely pay attention to this. And typically what I do is I come over here and I select all and I hit the old delete button. And now my social tab is empty. Promotions, all of the emails that I get, I mean, this pretty much, they've got it down over here. There's rarely anything that comes into promotions that I don't want in here. But as I sign up for Pottery Barn, for Instacart, whatever it is, it's going to automatically filter these. If it puts something over here into your updates or your forums, okay, so let's say this email came over from Debbie. If I star this, it's automatically going to think this is an important email and it's going to move it over to my inbox, just so you know. If I don't want it starred, but I want it moved over to my inbox, I'm going to check the box, labels. Right now it's labeled as a forum. I want to take it out of there and I want it to go over to my inbox. And there it is. Any questions on those categories that Gmail?
Would you do that once again about moving it from one place to your inbox?
You cut out for just a second, Daily. Moving it from your inbox to a label or moving it from one of these categories into your inbox?
Moving it from one of those categories into your inbox, please.
Okay. So if I want, let's go to updates. If I want this email to be in my inbox, right now I'm under updates. I can click on it, I select it, and then right up here are my labels. Remember our little tag? I unselect updates and hit apply, and now it'll move it to my primary.
Thank you.
I think that you can also, I have like 3 of these. I think you can also just drag and drop. Oh, it's not going to let me drag. It won't let me drag and drop. That's only to put it inside a label. But if you, here's another, I have some of these filters set up. If you keep getting things dumped into updates that you don't want in updates, if I want everything that comes through from Ninja, I don't want this in updates. I want this to go to my inbox. I'm tired of Gmail putting this in updates. I never see it. So I create a filter. So I open one of these and I hit my more, and I'm going to hit filter. And I want everything that comes from the Ninja Nation. I'm going to create my filter, and I'm going to go apply the label. Oh, I don't want to apply label, sorry. Down here, categorize. Choose category, primary. I always want it to be in my inbox. On the contrary, if you get something that shows up in your inbox all the time and you're like, eventually I want to go read this or watch this, but I don't want it showing up in my inbox. I want it to be automatically categorized, or, you know, if DSW keeps showing up in my inbox, I might set up a filter to automatically, when anything comes in from DSW, put that in promotions. But you start it just like you do a filter. And then instead of doing the apply label, you're going to categorize as primary. And if I want all of these emails that are showing up behind this, or all the emails I've gotten from this Ninja Nation, if I want all of these to go over to my inbox, I'm going to check that box, apply to emails that are sitting in my inbox.
But they also stay in your inbox.
Yes, I'm moving these from, it was in updates, and I'm moving these from updates into my inbox.
Oh, right.
And now whenever another one comes in, it'll be in my inbox forever. They'll always come in as my inbox and not be categorized. It's a way to beat the system that Gmail thinks, you know, it thinks these all need to go in updates. I want them in my inbox. I had that issue with .loop. It kept putting any update I got from .loop. If somebody had signed a document, if an agent had shared an offer with me, it was going into one of those funky categories. And I went, oh, no, I need that in my inbox. So I went in and created a filter to make sure anything that comes through from .loop goes into my inbox. So I never miss important emails. The flip side of that, if I have emails that come in, remember I showed you in my filters, like my Canva invoice, I don't need to see that. So I check this box. If I'm creating that type of filter, you've got all sorts of options here. You can delete it as they come in if it's something that you don't want anymore, or you can hit skip the inbox and archive it. So it's still there, still in your inbox, or still in your, and under a label or in your email, it's just not sitting in your inbox. I can mark it as read. And I can, what I do on some of those junk emails that I need to save, for instance, for like receipts, I hit skip the inbox, and then I apply my label that I have set up that's for my taxes. And that way it's not junking up my email. But it's there. It's important that I have that, you know, come April. So these filters are pretty powerful. There's a lot that you can do in here inside of Gmail. And there's a lot of things you can do to really automate and systemize things as they come in, using these filters, taking advantage of the labels, using that star system. It'll help you stay a little bit more organized and on task, because it's overwhelming when you open your inbox. And where do you start? These few little things have really helped me stay organized. It might not look like it when I pull up my inbox, but believe it or not, it's organized, kind of. It needs to be better. Okay, any questions on that? We're almost up to the hour, and I was going to show you, this won't take long, but I do want to show you how to do templates inside of Gmail. So templates. I use templates I use it for some training stuff, but I also use them for clients. So I've got some templates that I teach in the buyer and seller classes that I use to make sure, a couple of reasons that I use them, to make sure I'm sending everybody, I've got a system, everybody gets the same information and I don't forget something. And then to save me time. So I've got some templates set up. I'm gonna go back and show you how to get here, but I just want to give you an example of a template. So I've got this template called Seller Under Contract Next Steps, What to Expect. So this email goes out to a seller as soon as we're under contract and I've got everything signed. This email is going to go out to them. I don't need my email signature up there. Somehow that got inserted there. So I don't have to spend 45 minutes typing out this whole email. Typically, this is just part of the process. What I do come in and do is change the date. If we're at 10 days, I'll change that to 10. But then all this stuff down here, I'm changing my days, but all this is pretty much going to stay the same. But now my seller has an email. It looks like I've spent 45 minutes customizing this email to them that tells them, here are our next steps. Another couple other templates I used. That one's for buyers. And then, where's one? I don't know what this one looks like. I've saved a lot of them. Look, it stuck that right in the middle. Hold on just a second. I put 2 templates on one email, which is not good. Let me get a clean one. I'll just pull up this buyer finish line. So this is when I send the buyers 2 weeks before closing. It says finish line is approaching. Here's what we need to do. Final walkthrough. Here's what to expect at closing. Here's when you get possession. Here's your utilities that you need to reach out to. So I don't have to sit there and type this out every transaction. These are saved for me. So how do you set these up? Let me go back, work backwards now. So I go to compose and I type out this whole email. And then once you're done typing everything out, the other thing that you can do is you can go into like Microsoft Word and type everything and make it, format it, make it look really pretty, and then copy and paste it right over here. So I've got some example templates. Let's pull one of these up. Finish line. You have access to these, by the way, in our shared drive. If you want to go in and take mine and highlight it, hit the old copy button. Need to format that a little bit better. I've got this whole email written, and I'm going to come down here to these 3 little lines, the more options, and I'm going to go to templates. This is my whole list of templates, emails that I have saved. Right here, I'm going to go to save draft as a template. I can either override one of the ones that I have saved. Your screen won't look like this if you have never set up a template. You'll have one option when you hit templates, and it'll be save draft as template, and it'll be save as new template. So I want to save this as a new template. I'm going to name it class buyer finish line. If I label it as class, it'll remind me to come back in here and delete. And I hit save. So now that's saved as a template. So 2 months from now, when I've got another transaction, I'm ready to send this email, I just click on the dots, I go to template, there's my template we just created, I pull it up, I change our dates, I read it to make sure everything's applicable to them. If I need to adjust utility companies, I can do that. I've got to delete it, puts double email signature in there. My recommendation before you save a template, delete your email signature and then save your template. Just delete it. Then go to your 3 dots and go to your save. Otherwise, every time you pull up your template, you're going to have double on your email signature. This is a huge, huge time saver. Huge time saver for me. And this way I don't miss things. My mom can attest to this. I get in a hurry oftentimes and I skip some details. It happens. You get in a hurry, you miss things. So I make sure that everybody's getting the same information. I have a system, and B, I don't miss any steps. I don't miss anything. Now, if I've saved this and I want to come back in and edit, I don't like the way this is written, or, you know, I want to change things around a little bit. I can come in here and I can delete. I'm going to delete all this stuff. And then I want to save, this looks better than my original. So I want to save this as my template. Same process. I'm going to click the three dots, templates, and I'm just hovering here. I'm not clicking, I'm just hovering. And then I want to save this. I want to rewrite right over what we saved previously. So I click that. Oh, that was to insert. Sorry, hold on. I go to save. Then I click that, and it's going to say, do you want to override what you already have done? And I hit save. All right, I know I went through that fast because I was trying to make sure we didn't go too far over on time here. What questions do you have on templates? Anybody have any questions?
So
Not
Christian,
yet.
all those are in shared drive on Google Drive?
So they are in, most of them are there. I'm still uploading some of them and I need to fix some of them, but they're in. Let me just open up a new tab and I'll go there from scratch here. Make sure, I say this every time, make sure you're logged in as Kansas City Homes, otherwise you're not going to have access. So make sure, click on your picture. If you don't see Kansas City Homes right there, you're not going to be able to see this. I click on the waffle, I'm going to go to Drive, and then over here, Shared Drives, right underneath my drive. And I'm going to go to Agent Training. And right here is a folder, Christian's Templates. And I've got two different folders in here. I've got templates for buyers and templates for sellers. I need to update some of these templates. I don't have every one of them in here. But some of these are like this is a template for, I use these as a cover sheet when I'm delivering an offer to an agent. But some of these emails that I use are in here. Here's my finish line buyer email template. And if you open this, click up here, you can either open it in Word or Docs. And then you can open these and make changes, edit it. But feel free to use these and make whatever changes you want to it, and then just copy and paste this over to Gmail and save it as your template.
Christian, I just want to go on the record and say, who does this? Who shares their best practices and their best tips of working with their clients with everybody in the company? Thank you.
I know. I do. And
Thank you
that's
so
what
much.
makes this company awesome, is that everybody's
It
willing
does.
to share. Everybody's
Absolutely.
willing to share. So if you all have any good templates that you're using that you want to share with everybody, by all means, send them to me and I'll throw them in here. You know, we make each other better. All right, I know we're 5 minutes over time. I'll hang out for a few minutes and answer questions. But those were your tech tips for today. I know we covered a whole lot. Hopefully you got a couple of takeaways, some things you could do over in your inbox to make it a little bit more efficient. Thank you, Sheila. I can always count on you to find my typos. I love it. I have found in the last couple of days, as I pull templates over into Microsoft Word to edit them, that there are a couple of typos in them. So make sure you proofread. Don't trust my fast typing and my spell check. I'll hang out for a few minutes, answer any questions, but thank you all so much for joining today. I hope that you learned something and you've got a couple of takeaways to help keep you more efficient, save you some time, and make you some more money.
Holy cow. My head is like agog with how you know about so much stuff. I wish I was not the age I am.
You know, I'll be honest with you, Sheila, a lot of it is just trial and error and just clicking on things.
Yeah.
And then going, oh, that's cool. Let me see what that does.
Yeah, but you have to have the right kind of mind to do that.
Well,
But
you know,
Yeah.
Sheila, what's your term phrase that we've worked on?
Listening,
Not afraid to
try.
click.
Oh, that's right. Well, I am better, but see, I mean, holy cow, it just is astonishing, as I just put in that chat, what you've done.
well, thank you. And I'm happy to share it and help you learn it, because it's, you know, some of these things, or even if you just do one of these things from today, it'll just help you be a little bit more efficient and a little less overwhelmed when you get to the box.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You're a wonder. For
Well,
sure.
you are very welcome. I'm glad that you were able to join today. Thank you. You always have good questions.